Hello everyone and welcome to the Academy of Knowledge video series. Today I'm back in Azerbaijan in my favorite room where my library is, where years of knowledge that I have accumulated throughout the years have been gathered in all these books. This is one of my favorite spots in my apartment and where I spend a fair amount of my time during the day. Today, what I want to talk about is the topic of public speaking. More precisely, if you want to, the topic of impromptu speaking aspect of public speaking. Now, what is impromptu speaking and what are impromptu speeches? Impromptu speeches are the speeches that you do not prepare beforehand while delivering it. They are the speeches where you have the least amount of time, or most oftenly no amount of time, no time to prepare for this speech beforehand. Now, one of the most common mistakes that people do is they try to buy time while trying to deliver an impromptu speech. They try to pause for a second, think about for a few seconds, and to come up with some extra time, some ideas while delivering this speech. How to say, prepare it, but in a very short time. I consider it as one of the massive mistakes, and I'm going to clear it out why it's one of the most important mistakes people do during impromptu speeches. Now, what makes it challenges, as we discussed, is the fact that the impromptu speeches, you do not have any time to prepare for it, and a person who hasn't practiced it before, who hasn't done an impromptu speech in his life, he feels several tensions. For instance, I remember back when I was first just starting out to do public speaking, I had an opportunity to do an impromptu speech, and when I stood up at the stage, I felt this tension in my stomach, these butterflies in my stomach, and then a person started sweating. I started sweating a lot, and I tried to buy time by just taking a few seconds to walk slowly and try to think for a while what I'm gonna talk about, and I ended up with my mind went blank, and I just couldn't have any idea, any thought, any opinion in my mind about this topic, and I failed so hard that I even decided to quit public speaking, and I just thought, oh, maybe it's not for me, maybe I'm not meant to deliver good speeches at all. But luckily, due to my stubborn personality, or the personality that I never accepted defeat by nature, and I decided to keep on trying, and I kept on trying and trying. I ended up learning few key and very important knowledge in order to overcome this anxiety, overcome these obstacles, and I learned from one of the best teachers of public speaking on how to deliver the most effective speeches. As a result, in several competitions, in several events, I won the most or the best impromptu speaker titles in various events. So I'm going to share with you two tips. Tip number one is what I call just do it. So as I mentioned earlier, most people try to buy time and think about the topic when they're planning to do an impromptu speech. But the key here is that if you do this step, trying to buy time, think about the topic, you actually do the opposite and harm your brain. You put more pressure on yourself where you already have enough pressure. I mean, you are in front of a huge audience, yes, and you are trying to speak on a topic that you have no preparation about, and everyone is staring at you. It's very tough to overcome it, and in addition, you by trying to go back to your head, trying to think, trying to brainstorm, is putting an extra pressure on your brain, which will do the opposite instead of helping you doing the impromptu speech. And what you have to do, what my tip here is, by saying just do it, is As soon as you stood up in front of the stage, start speaking the first thing that comes up to your mind, and just start speaking. Don't care, don't try to know the whole picture. Don't try to think about, oh, how am I gonna do introduction, how am I gonna do the body of my speech, and how am I gonna conclude. You will not be able to know to think about all that in few seconds of time that you have. Even if you bought few minutes, you will not be able to prepare for it effectively. So what you need to do is get up into stage and start speaking. What it does, it focuses, it gets your reticular activating system awakened and your focus back into the topic that you are going to deliver. Now, what is reticular activating system is one of the most important parts of it. The reticular activating system is a part of our brain which is located behind our head, and its major responsibilities, major duties are it's responsible for our focus, to focus on the important things for you in the life. So what it does, during every second in our life, we are surrounded by billions of gigabytes of information, and our reticular activating system is responsible for us to cherry pick the most important, the most necessary information for our survival or for our interest from all this information. The rest goes to either subconscious mind or just is deleted by the system of our brain, and only the most important aspects, the most important things are stored in our brain. Well, you do not obviously always decide, and while you are trying to think about something, actually you are shutting down your reticular activating system, but you, by taking action, you awaken that system, and now you will see that you, by just using several sentences, you feel that these sentences do actually follow up in a certain manner, and you can actually think clearly and more clearly, step by step. So for instance, a good example for this would be, you stand up in the stage and you're in front of the audience which doesn't know you, and you don't know what you're going to talk about. Your topic is just given. You can just start saying that, oh, hello everyone, my name is Javid, I am from Azerbaijan, and I'm here to deliver a speech on this topic. By simply doing this, you already give your brain, awaken your system, and your next thought is going to pop up in your mind. So you, by continuing this pattern, these steps, will see that actually magic can happen in life. And actually, now that you started speaking, your brain understands it, and you can clearly cut your way through the point you are trying to make. This is one and most important tip. Now, you may ask me a question, okay, Javid, it's very interesting what you're saying, but why would I need to learn your public speaking just do it tip if I'm not going to be a public speaker, or I'm probably never gonna need to deliver impromptu speech in my life, or let's say, even if I'm asked to deliver an impromptu speech, let's say in a gathering, in a meeting, I'll just pass it off. I'll just say that, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not going to speak about it. You can't make it. You can't make me to speak. But if we think from a bigger perspective, this tip of just do it is very relevant to many aspects of our life, not only limited to the public speaking. For instance, I'm gonna tell you a story of a friend of mine when I was back in the university, and how I did relate it to this knowledge that I have acquired today, and what I would change if I went back in time with this knowledge. So I was at the university, and a friend of mine, one of really close friends of mine, came up to me and he opened up to me. He said, Javid, listen, there's this girl I have a big crush on, and I really want to get to know her, maybe even date her. I really like her. What should I do? And obviously, as a friend, I said, dude, why don't you try to talk to her, to get to know her. And well, when you are at the university, you have so much pressure on you already, and you, by trying to go and talk to a girl that you like, may seem a bit difficult and a challenging thing to do. So this guy, he made an excuse, what he always did. But Javid, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna talk to her, what I'm gonna say to her, and etc. and etc. I don't know her. I don't know what she likes, what she wants to hear from me, or whatsoever. And I think I'm not just ready. And many of these kind of excuses came up to his mind. And the more he saw it, the more challenging it became for him. In this occasion, what the best dating coaches, the best dating advisors would tell you is that just be yourself and go up to her, start a conversation. That's one of the most important things to do. Or if you heard the 3-second rule, so the more you hesitate, actually the more difficult it becomes to you to deliver that speech, or to go up and talk to that girl. And in public speaking is the same. The more you wait, the more you think about the topic, you actually trap yourself inside this huge problem of not having anything to talk about. But once you're opened up, you started talking, it will follow up. So my friend, he obviously made this excuse and never ended up talking to her, and he probably regretted for 2 or 3 years, next 2 or 3 years in his life. But if I had this knowledge, I would really want to go back and push him further, make him go up and talk to that girl, instead of making all these excuses. And if we look at it in a bit, from a bit bigger perspective, from the bigger picture, we can relate it to many aspects of our lives. And unless we take the first step, to put it in other words, unless we take the first step, we will never be able to know, or we will never be able to see the whole picture, the big picture of anything we do. Or let's say, unless we go up to that girl and start talking, introduce yourself or whatever, you will never be able to say that if she was the one for you or she wasn't. So a little comparison in this instant. And the tip number 2 would be, in order to deliver an effective speech, an effective public speaking, the most important thing, one of the most important things to do is to be yourself and share your personal experience. So another very common mistake of what most guys do is they try to pretend the people they are not, or they try to give this, to pretend that they're this ideal guys or the wisest men in the world, the coolest dudes, trying to give advice to other people. And if you don't feel that way, what it turns out, and what it's called in personal development industry is being uncalibrated. What uncalibrated means is you act not in accordance to what you feel actually. For instance, you feel serious, you try to make other people laugh, or you don't even feel that this joke is funny, you make that joke and try to make others laugh. Obviously it's not going to work. And it's the same in dating life as well. If we compare, most guys, what they do, they go up to girls and they start pretending they're like, oh, I'm James Bond, or I'm this cool dude, or I'm this serious guy. The best thing, the best advice you would get is be yourself and try to act like yourself, because it's the easiest. And in public speaking, again, if you try to pretend that you are, oh, Barack Obama, or you are this really famous politician, or you're this wisest man or ideal type of person who sleeps 5 hours a day and works every day, every night, I don't know, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep whatsoever, and try to give advice to people from that perspective, it's not gonna feel calibrated to them, and you won't be able to deliver an effective information. It won't be effective your information. And lastly, as I mentioned, is share your own experience. So another common mistake that people do is that today's world is so open, so full of knowledge and so reachable that every piece of information that has been gathered, every piece of thought that has been gathered throughout the world is reachable to every one of us. And on one hand, no matter how many quotes you mention from Plato, Aristotle, or anyone else, you won't be able to be that interesting to people that you're delivering information to, and you will end up repeating what other people say, and you won't stand out from the many others from the crowd. What makes an effective speech truly effective is when you share your personal story, your personal life, and your journey, how you ended up learning this knowledge, let's say just do it knowledge, and how your personal story reflects this idea that came up to your mind, and you realize that this truth of life, and now you're delivering it to people. That makes it the point you're trying to get through the people really strong, really important, and that makes distinctions the really effective speech from an average speech or from just a good speech. Let's summarize everything back. In order to deliver an effective impromptu speech, first, you need to follow the rule of just do it. Second, you need to be yourself. And lastly, you have to share your own experience, your own life story, and your own perspective on the issue, which will make the impromptu speech an excellent or the most powerful speech. Now, if you like my videos, click that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, and comment below if you have any ideas, thoughts about this issue, or if you can add value to this information. And you can also comment what videos you would like to receive from us in future. And stay tuned, hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.